funny thing, of course, is I'm looking now on highlighter.
Mm-hmm.
Like just searching for highlighter. I get, of course, all these like makeup things.
Beauty stuff. Yeah. The highlighter beauty concept is more popular than the highlighter video
Even
or book or any
highlighter
of the other.
doesn't work either.
Does it give you a beauty brand? Maybe maybe I'm in the wrong business.
That's right. Okay, I can't find. This is terrible. Okay, right. If I look up highlighter DK, does that work?
I don't know. I'm noticing my volume,
my
audio volume here looks like it's bouncing kind of high, and yours that I'm not seeing it bounce that much. Oh, so you're watching us live on YouTube. Mm-hmm.
So there we go.
So I can hear your voice fine, but when I look at do you see the control panel on Riverside on the right-hand side there?
Yeah.
And does that look, it looks like your audio signal isn't very strong in Riverside.
It looks, it goes halfway, it looks like. And if I get closer, maybe that'll work a little better. Does this work a little better? Or if I bring it closer to me?
It's popping up a little bit more, but I just wouldn't want it to be like super far off parity with mine. Like I'm this super loud, domineering voice, and then you somehow get muffled by the software.
We can watch it later and see how it works.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
cool.
You're looking pretty good. This is working. Mm-hmm. Now, the real question is this actually the two of us talking, or is this artificially generated?
That's right. Are these like little characters that are models of our faces that sort of trying to observe our Twitter writing and figure out the kinds of things we might say?
It could totally happen. It could totally happen, and it could happen very, very soon. Although the one good question is whether we'll get proper low latency audio communications first, or if we'll get fake bots first, or if we'll get like the dream TikTok replacement.
Oh, wait, so low latency audio seems like the easiest. You mean like generated audio, right?
I mean, no, but right now, if we were to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at the same time, there'd be enough of a lag that it's not natural.
Right. So you're saying that what are the three that compete? There's low latency audio. There's the dreamlike one was number 3. What was number 2?
Having bots, like animated bots to play our heads, avatars that look good enough that people don't worry about it.
Right, but not like our faces with animations laid over. You actually mean like literal bots.
Or even, it could be our faces. I mean, I'm mostly just making fun of the fact that I think the actual valuable thing to the world would be low latency audio in video conferencing, and yet no one's really doing that well.
So you're kind of trolling Zoom and all the Google Hangout and all the.
That's right. I'm trolling the entire universe.
Yeah.
I talked to a friend of mine who's executive coach to like the biggest companies in the world, right? And or CEOs of the biggest companies in the world. And it was interesting. I was asking him whether or not folks had improved practices during pandemic, like whether they learned new things or not. And the discouraging thing is, he's like, not really, right? That like you have like these huge companies full of like super capable people, and no one's really figured out how to take advantage of this. I thought by now.
When you say improved practices, like how remote work and stuff like that should work?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe it's possible there are dark patterns, right? That actually there are secret ways to amass power by doing things like, doing things over digital communications. And then if it's a dark pattern that you don't really want to tell other people about, maybe that's why it doesn't spread.
Right. Well, I sort of have. I mean, this is a good topic. We could probably go on for an hour about remote work and future work stuff. But I'm sort of skeptical that people are going to figure out, like, that existing large companies are going to be able to adapt to remote work in like a meaningful way. Like, kind of the retooling all of the systems and expectations and culture around getting things done in remote ways, I think is just going to be like painful and slow and never fully transition. Is probably going to feel hybrid. And then I think there's the companies, like the GitLabs of the world who just start that way and natively grow that way. And I think we're going to see lots, maybe, half of new companies get started that way. And they're just going to like have a different culture of like how they write, how digital communication works, how meetings get recorded and published and shared. And like, I think it's just going to be like a totally different style of building a company. And like the old ones, like the Googles and Facebook, Metas of the world are just probably not going to adapt well.
I mean, okay, well, I guess the thing that I'd probably guess is like the best performing companies, right, in the new world will probably have to be native. That's possible. I can believe that. I will note though that folks are very good at doing a few things over remote work, right? One of the things folks are really good at is getting other people fired.
You're saying if somebody's remote, people are good at getting that person who's working remotely fired?
Or that we figured out, I was just thinking as far as things that we do better now than before, or things that have happened more effectively, certainly, and now this is seriously speaking, certainly like bad actors, you can fire more easily, right? Because they will do something stupid, like, I don't know, whatever horrible sexual harassment, right? Like you can actually capture those and you can see it online and then you can hold people you can hold managers accountable in a way that you weren't able to before, right? So that's one place where I feel like if you were to say what are the things a company does, around hiring, managing, and firing people, sort of figured out how to fire people, like, sort of create paper trails to fire people a little better.
And is that primarily because when everything's happening digitally, you have better paper trails? You can kind of audit post facto?
Because it's recorded, right?
Right.
So.
Yeah.
But that's not a great I guess if you're going to believe in productivity by subtraction, that's a productivity game, but it's not like a super inspiring example.
Right. Well, I think productivity is going to change just because of the fact that like the things that people assume make people productive do not actually map to productivity. They just map to comfort. Like people say like, we can't brainstorm. We can't be productive. We can't brainstorm unless we're all gathered around a whiteboard. And it's like, I asked them, have you ever tried Zoom with Figma? Because it's really good. Like it's somewhat better. And when you have a large company with, offices on 2 floors in one office building in San Francisco, I've seen those situations where people actually call in. And especially if there's one person who's out in the Toronto office, you actually need to put everybody at parity. So then you have everybody call in from their desk. And so the kind of whole, like if anything's remote, I think a lot changes remote, but you really I think there's like a false sense of kind of control that people have from like, hey, if everybody's sitting in the desks, in a row, then I know they're working. And if they're at their home, I don't know if they're working or not. It's like, well, you know how many people are just, sitting at their desk browsing the internet, random, on Reddit.
That's terrible.
Waiting for their software build to happen. It's like there's no,
that's
either
funny.
way.
Okay, so I got to go in a minute, but what other reading should we do before tomorrow? Or whenever we do this next?
I don't know.
I'll read Elad's piece. Mm-hmm. There's a friend of mine, Dilip Rao, who wrote a couple of things like a few years ago that I think are interesting. I think like that line between, I do think the right way to think about it is generative versus predictive, or generative versus discriminative. And so the opportunities around what happens when the machines talk to themselves, like I think that's a really interesting opportunity. So
if you've got anything to send me a link or two, and then we'll look at the Elad thing. I'll see if he's available tomorrow. Whether he's around or not, I think we should just do it anyway. But I'm curious I kind of feel like I want a little bit more, like his piece seems to touch on like survey of here's all the categories and things that we could be thinking about in the various silos and verticals within kind of AI, large language models, machine learning. And so I almost kind of want to, just for my own personal curiosity, kind of zoom out. Like I understand like fundamental computer science, AI topics, but I don't think I have a good lay of the land right now. And that's something I'd like to sort of just get a better sense of, like, what are the sort of verticals or silos that people are thinking about today? How is that broken up,
Okay. That sounds like fun.
Cool.